see you make decisions without your television. I'm not a very good singer. Freebie, check it out. I know I need to polish it more. I really should try harder when it comes to. I got the rust and everything off, and it had this big notch back here. It's a type of camp axe, and I found it at the dump. I know. I found it at the dump too. Look, it didn't look like this. I painted this, and it was covered in rust, and it needed a handle. But someone just threw it away. I whipped up a handle real quick and threw some paint on it. I got a machete, and let me set it over there. There we go. And this guy here, this thing was cool. All metal, and it was solid rust. I had to cut the backside off of that and polish it up and then sharpen it. And I got some of this neck polished up pretty good. It's got some polish to it, but it's going to need to get buffed out more. It's got a few like micro scratches or something. I just leather wrapped the handle. Freebie. Free. Who throws stuff away? I think I've talked about that a bajillion times, how folks just throw stuff away. It's ridiculous how much stuff gets just thrown in the trash and wasted. I need to keep making stuff because one day I'm probably going to need it. And I get to thinking, with all this stuff going on, it goes back to now, 3 years ago, right? Like 3 years ago, I think I had touched on, it's going to be in the SHTF series playlist. And it goes into things I think about and all that. But I had done videos covering my thoughts on medical martial law and what could take place. And I also had thrown in the mix of that, which was kind of weird, thinking about it, that I had actually discussed not just medical martial law, but also a economic collapse that comes in conjunction with all that stuff. And of course, somewhere during that week or so, I think I'd also talked about aliens and tinfoil hats too. But I don't mean that I'm wrong. A lot of the stuff that I've covered and made videos on, it's just thoughts. It's thoughts, and it goes back into the same category as the what ifs and should haves that I'm always bringing up. And what if this happens and I should have done that? Well, if you going back to that and that thought, and how we were, everyone was pushing for vaccines. Well, implementing processes that are required to be followed and to push the boundaries of how much we can push on the individual. How much can we push on individual? Just speaking for Americans, that area, not just everywhere else and what everyone else is doing. Because here's the thing. We are the last free country. And to bring on all this communist behavior is going to destroy that, and then it's all over. It's all over for everyone out there, because you will have no rights, you'll have no freedoms, and it could be, a globalist control. I know I'm getting way too far ahead of myself, but it just gets me thinking back to medical martial law and how they can enforce stuff like that. Well, it goes back into families, and I'm focusing more on that now, because schools are starting back in some places, and in some places where schools are starting back, it's leading to these quarantine of children and freak out moments. Okay. Some people are seeing stuff like that in the media and the news and all that stuff. Well, if you think about that's these areas where things like that are happening, and then you have areas like us where over here in my neck of the woods, they're procrastinating on firing schools up. And that being said, now like the teacher says, my kids should know. Now, granted, this is a 6 and an 8-year-old. My youngest is a preschooler. Now, my kids should know how to access and be used to using these types of Google chats and things. Okay. Not everyone, and it goes back to internet-wise, because a lot of folks where I'm at don't even have internet. And the type of internet that some of us have is like satellite internet. And the satellite internet is expensive, and it doesn't work half the time. You might get a signal at early in the morning, then you lose it. And if you spend the whole day, you don't get as much internet. And well, who pays for that, right? So here's the thing. This is what's bugging me. You're registering your kids to be in a school system where everyone gets paid, and everyone still, does their whatever it is that they're doing, right? While the kids stay at home, and the parents, it doesn't matter if you've got one parent, two parents, it doesn't matter if both of them work, if one of them works, it does not matter your situation that you have in your household, but someone is required to make sure that those kids can follow the curriculum and do all the schoolwork just the same as they would be. Now they're still registered. They're still technically going to school, right? Does this make any sense to you? I know it doesn't to me. It's really, so basically the school systems will still get money. Everyone will still get paid, and everyone's hunky-dory in that department, while all the work and everything's being done at home by non-teachers. Now, these are my kids. They're my responsibility, correct? And someone out there would say that, would say, well, BA, you had the kids. They're your responsibility, right? They are. And, well, if that's the case, then, why does the money go in that direction? It doesn't make any sense in that. If I'm doing all the work and the kids are doing all the work, then, but the kids have to be accounted for. You have to account for those kids. You got to get that money somewhere, right? Someone's got to get that money. And that, getting kids used to technology and all this stuff. Okay. Now, there's that. So there's no cafeterias, there's no any of that stuff. So some folks out there that can't afford to, there are folks out there that can't get as much food as most, and they rely on the schools for their food. Now, there's that, and then there's this thought of the stimulus checks and what we're not paying attention to. Here's the thing. Everyone likes free money. Someone said to me that they took their stimulus check and they bought chickens and bought chicks, and so they got their money for nothing and their chicks for free. I thought that was hilarious. But you've got to do all this stuff. Everyone's required to wear masks, and no one's looking at the national debt, seeing where that's traveling, and we're paying attention to all this other stuff. You've got these images being thrown at you of folks burning Bibles in Portland, you're getting all these different images and scattered things, but they say it's for some sort of cause for this or cause for that, and they're pushing for all these different agendas, and it is just getting bombarded right now. It is getting bombarded with all this stuff. Folks are losing their homes, people are out of work, and you've got, it's just like I've said before, they take advantage of a, you know, never let a good crisis go to waste. You've got to push the agenda. You've got to force it on everybody. And it doesn't matter where you go now. Someone had commented, of course, I get the troll comments. Yeah, what are all you rednecks going to do when, you know, now that they don't allow folks in any of these places without masks, you're going to start shopping at a dollar store or something like that, is what they said. Well, here's the thing. Dollar store requires masks too. So everywhere you go, there's folks can't sing in church. You know, they're afraid they're going to spread the virus on everyone. And it is so ridiculous out there. It is so ridiculous out there. And everyone seems to have these ideas of what the cure is. And it goes back to, there's so much control. Medical martial law. They have a cause. They force it on you due to COVID-19. If they can use that, well, because of COVID-19, and I'd even involved how this would lead to, this would be the World War III. This would be your World War III. Because how they're going to use this to fight you is that everyone starts to comply. Well, man, you know, I got a new mask today. It matches, it's in Realtree camo. And I'm saying that because I am a redneck. You know, I can make all those jokes I want to. And nobody can talk trash about me, right? But yeah, I got, you know, you get your mask and you start conforming and everyone else starts to conform. You've got people that are getting angry because other folks don't wear their mask properly. You got folks getting angry because they have to wear a mask. You get folks that are angry because no one else is wearing masks and they're the only ones doing it. And then you've got that focus. Everyone will be so focused on that. Everyone will be so focused on that stimulus check. Everyone will be so focused on everything but what's going on over here. Like freaking Wizard of Oz, you know, don't worry about that man behind the curtain, because all this crazy stuff's going on over here and you're paying attention to all these little flashy images in front of your face every day. And while over here, it's a sleight of hand. There's something else taking place while all this stuff's going on. And that's the World War III that you have to be worried about. And it's, you get everybody to fight amongst themselves. You get everyone to think that race is a problem. You get everyone to think that all these things are a problem. Oh, now we're burning Bibles. Said all the other stuff wasn't enough. All the other stuff wasn't enough. We had to throw some more stuff into it. And that's not enough. They're going to do something else. And it's just going to keep getting more and more escalated to the point everyone's at each other's throat. And then if everybody's at each other's throat and I think it's because of the cause of COVID-19 and all this other stuff, it's like, well, due to COVID-19, you're going to have to start doing this now. And then you're going to have to start doing this now. And it's one more thing that just keeps getting added. You're going to have to start giving all your, and that goes back to the social media stuff. That goes back to social media stuff. They want to see your papers. You know, most places you can go on there and you can be Captain Ed and your picture's a freaking cat or something, you know, a kitten playing softball. And you could keep that for a while. And then, but eventually, over time, like I've mentioned before, and everyone thought I was crazy when I started making these videos. They didn't get popular because people didn't like the idea of that because it didn't suit how they felt. And they don't see like the social credit, right? The social credit and the social media credit thing, right? It's going to be one of those things where you have this social credit score, and it's been going on. It's not a new thing, and it all falls into this same agenda. You ever watch those? It got me thinking. I know this is where I get really corny because I'm into comic books. You go back to like Green Arrow and trash, okay? And where you've got that character Prometheus, and Prometheus is basically 8 steps ahead of Oliver Queen, and the main focus here is to get everyone on that island so he can blow it up, and he has to choose between having his son or his friends, and he can't have both. And it all leads down to that. If you ever think about it like that, that is how World War III is fought. It isn't fought. It's not like what you would see in the movies, where it's going to be, to meet the agenda, we have to set, order number this, order number that, this process, that process. All these things have to be put in place, and it goes on over a span of several years. All these things have to be stacked up like dominoes, and then one day someone's going to push them, and they're going to connect all that stuff up. And as soon as they do, it's going to hit the agenda. It's going to be the main source of everything. And to get it to where it needs to be, you've got it right now where they say there's supplies of all kinds of stuff is running short. No one wants to talk about that. But on the other hand, it's like, we reached the beginning of this thing, and does anyone remember how and when all this stuff started, and what happened? The steps that were taken in the beginning of this, where you go and there's no toilet paper and all the food's gone and everyone's freaked out and bought everything. Okay, it happened so fast, and it's going to happen again, and this could be something bigger than this. But wife and I have our own theories for this, that like how it's attacking folks. Is there more to the story? Why are we not hearing everything? And people are saying this chloroquine, whatever, I can't pronounce it. Redneck in me, I can't pronounce words like that. This the medication to take to get rid of COVID-19 is actually, because the wife was telling me, because she's she's a nurse, so but she had said, even back to her like microbiology book and stuff like that, how that medication is horrible on the body. It destroys everything. And it's that would, she says, basically, that's not a treatment that's like, sure, if it's your last resort, if you're not going to get over whatever it is, you would take that, but it would be a last resort. And that would be used for it. It's used for different uses, but in some cases, there are, that is treated for stuff where the individual doesn't have any choice. There's no other choices in that. Folks get better. Folks come back. You know what I mean? It's like folks recover from stuff like that. And to have folks take that just destroys them. So it's like I said, this is all part of a even longer process, a longer agenda. And I think this could be a long kiss goodnight kind of thing. And this could be one of those, the stimulus check things and all that stuff. And this could be just that long kiss goodnight, and to weaken the infrastructure and to get everyone turned against each other and all these different things. It would, because I'd said before, here's another thing, I'll quote myself again, no country during World War III will hit the button. They're not going to want to hit the button. Everyone talks about the big red button they're going to push and nuke everybody. No one's going to want to do that, because that's that mutual insured destruction that kills everyone. And the land and the country is no good to anybody if it's destroyed. There's no money in it. And a lot of this stuff does lead to money and who can get it. And a lot of this stuff does lead to money. A lot of this stuff leads to control and money and all that and power. So you got to really think about all that stuff before we start to jump into these situations of flashy things that folks are trying to get us involved in. Like the social media things, we all know I'm not part of Facebook. Okay. I haven't seen that in what, 12 years or so, or something like that. I can't remember the last time I saw that. But when I saw how it was being used to manipulate my coworkers, but coworkers being other Marines, when I saw what was happening to them, I knew it was not a suitable location for anyone, because people use it as a weapon. They don't use it as a social media tool to feel good, to relax, take life easy. It's not like that. They use that as a different kind of tool, as a weapon. It's just like all the other ones. LinkedIn is the other one. And that's another site. It's used more as a weapon. That's another papers only site. You know, there's a lot of sites out there. It's papers only. And Twitter should be a place where it's feel good and, you know, tell about your day. How was my day? You know, or something like that. Instagram. Here's what I'm eating today. Here's some. I've got my grill fired up. I'm having Pabst Blue Ribbon and some. I got brats, right? I got brats and whatever else, right? Hamburgers, hot dogs, stuff like that. You got to talk about food. You got to take food photos, right? This is what I'm eating this morning, and seeing I remember they had, but that was connected to Facebook, and that's the reason why I got rid of Instagram. And I know this is going into a social media thing, but this is all part of it as well, because they're joining forces, they're connecting together, and they're shutting people's mouths. It's like, we don't like what you have to say. This is a one-sided conversation. You shut up. And they're silencing all these people with the censorship, and that's just another way of control. It all leads back to the control and the ability to silence others and to meet the other agenda. And it's like, well, that doesn't meet the agenda. Let's shut them up. And if you don't think all of them are in pocket together, you're wrong. And by the end of the year, if you still trust media and government, that's going to be on you. That's going to be all your fault. If you still trust them by the end of the year, you shouldn't trust them now. You know what I mean? I should have said that in the beginning. You shouldn't trust them. But when I knew that Facebook was connected with, and that started getting all the managing of my account, it was like 82,000 or something like that was the amount of followers, and I was following folks back. That when I saw what they were doing to things that I posted, you can't post that. And people started telling me, I can't see that image because it's scary or frightening or something. And when I started seeing that they were censoring me and restricting me, if they don't like what they see, they can leave. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's how it all should be. That's how Twitter should be. That's how Instagram should be. That's how Facebook should be. That's how all these places should be. If you don't like what that person's saying, then you can leave. But they don't want, well, now, you know, we don't want it trending. We don't want people sharing it. It's frightening people and scaring them and hurting their feelings. And people are crying over here and things like that. That's no reason to silence people and shut people up. Everybody has an opinion. You know, everybody should be allowed to talk. But now it goes back to one of the other things, that social credit, that got to get that social credit, man. And everyone's being pretty much tracked, monitored. But here's another thing. before I get off here. You don't truly own anything, right? I'm a human. I own myself, right? You don't truly own anything. It's like folks that buy land and all that stuff. You can't be truly self-sufficient, self-reliant, because it would harbor, everyone harps on being self-sufficient, self-reliant. I live off grid. Here's the thing. You still have to pay taxes. You still pay taxes, that stuff. It doesn't matter if you're off the beaten path. Your name's still somewhere and you're still paying those taxes. I don't care what Billy out there says that if they live on land that is truly counted as, well, this is my place, a place, not a thing. You know, I'm not talking about, I know you could drive a bus or something and park outside of a camping place. I got that. Okay. I'm talking about a place where you build something on, right? That still has taxes to it. It doesn't matter if it's paid for or not. And so you truly can't be self-sufficient, self-reliant, because you still have to be part of the system. You still have to generate some sort of income to pay for that, to pay those taxes, to stay alive and keep living and keep breathing and being a part of the machine. It's ridiculous. I'm just saying. We all are still required to be a part of the machine. And at some point, and I was thinking to myself about all this stuff and said, you know what? If I decided to just go out in the woods, put up a tent and said, I'm done, right? If I ever decided that, here's the thing. Someone's going to come get me eventually. I'm not going to be able to live like that. Even if you could end up in a homeless situation and roam the streets. But here's the thing. It leads to control, because they can still snatch you up. They can still move you to another location and all kinds of crazy trash. So there's the thing. And I think that's about it. I think that about wraps it up for all my crazy thoughts for today. But it's been bugging me. And like I said, sometimes I just want to turn the camera on and just start talking. And that's me just talking. And I hope this puts a little thought into it. Now, I'm not going into full details of everything that you can think of for a top secret covert kind of World War III, where you destroy the country from the inside and then gradually take it over and turn it straight over to communism. I don't have all the answers for you when it comes to that, because there's so many ways it can be done. And I think that the things that are set in place now, that are getting set in place and getting thrown out there, they're going to use all this, even when it comes to the cure for your problems. When it comes to the cure, it's going to lead to some sort of microchipping or something like that. And microchipping has been going on. My dog was microchipped, I think, when he was a puppy or something. But microchips are in kids. They've been doing that for a long time for tracking. They've been doing microchips for medical records, all your dental records, all that stuff. So all they got to do is just do a little quick scan, and they've got all the information they need, and they can move with their thing. And it also goes into not having a phone, not having a bank, your bank account, all that stuff's all in that little microchip. It's eventually going to lead to that. And they're going to tell you it's all because of this, or it's all because of that. And they'll have an excuse for it as to why you need to have it. And if you do not comply, you will be sentenced to jail and your life will be removed and we will execute you in public or something anyway. But anyways, somewhere along those lines. I know it's crazy, right? I'm just a wacky person, aren't I? All right. Well, I hope all of you have a beautiful, fantastic day. Rainbows and unicorns. God bless. Take care.